Welcome to the Tech Savvy Professor podcast, two faculty who love tech and love making it part of their work. I'm Marty Gencius from Kent State University.
And I'm Eric Perry, clinical faculty at Southern New Hampshire University.
You know, there's always just that little delay that I need to clip up when I got to take a cut, like a second out, so it sounds a little tighter in the play. Now, people who are listening to the podcast won't notice it because I've removed that little bit of
that little bit on point.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with COVID. I think the last time we recorded, the next day I tested positive for COVID and have been inside. I got out of the house this morning, have been 3 days negative, and have been taking Paxlovid because people of my age and condition get that prescribed. And it really is very, very much of a miracle drug when it comes to reducing the symptoms. The only problem is it leaves what I describe as the taste of kale in your mouth. It is a terrible taste, a bitter taste in the back of your throat. And for that reason alone, it's not something that I enjoy taking. And it's like you wake up in the middle of the night and you're tasting this in the back of your throat. But it works. You get used to it. I had lots of throat lozenges to try and kill the flavor, but I'm done with COVID. So we're back with another episode. And we talked about making this about just gadgets, things that we have picked up in the last couple of months or the last month. And this might not be so academically focused as much as it's things that we've been using and things that we're playing around with.
Yeah, there's been a bunch. I actually have a wish list going, and some of it's from CES, just wish list kind of stuff, and then a couple of things are stuff that I picked up here and there. One of the things I was pretty excited about is the new JLab, the J-Buds, their earbuds. They're the Ank 3s. So I have the Ank 2 version, which are awesome. These ones are supposed to be the smallest noise canceling earbuds that they've created so far. So they came out a few months ago, and they're on back order, but should be here in the next couple of days.
What do they mean, smallest noise canceling earbuds? Do they crawl inside your ear? Or, I mean, earbuds are earbuds. They're all the same size, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, the way they sit in your ears is the same, but I think it takes up such a small portion to sit in your ear. And I think the one thing I'm always concerned about is whether or not it'll sit and stay when I move around. I actually liked the earbuds that they had, the wingtips to, and Samsung made a version of them too. I always have trouble with these, so I'm excited to try them because I feel like they'll fit in my ears better because they only fit under that smaller lip of the top of your inner ear.
Okay. I am this is the month of new Mac rollout. The phone will happen sometime later in the summer, but upgrades with iPads and upgrades with new Mac Airs. So most of what I have to talk about today is that, but I'm going to start out with the big one, which is the Apple Vision Pro. People are like, they're so expensive. Yeah, they are. But I saved when they announced it about a year ago or more than a year ago, I started saving. And I was able to save up money from some consultation work and some travel money expenses that were reimbursements that I just decided to put into the savings account. So I got an Apple Vision Pro on the day of release, and I've had it for a month or more, and I love it. It's a new device. It's an absolutely new platform, and it's a lot of fun. It just as being a platform if you're into computing. So, I'm trying to add productivity to it. I'm starting to do content creation. I've been using it for email and for scheduling and checking off the to-do list. And I switch between it and other devices throughout the day just to have kind of a different place to work with. I've been doing lots of presentations at Mac user groups on it because not everybody has one or plans to get one, but they're curious about it. And have also, I'm a regular panelist on Mac Voices now, and also a guest on In Touch with iOS podcasts. And so I've been there to kind of talk about those and other things on those podcasts. But the Apple Vision Pro is the new toy, hopefully work toy in my house.
It's funny. One of the big things on my list right now to watch for is Spacetop. It's an AR laptop. They're saying the first AR laptop, so a portable version of an augmented reality laptop. And essentially, it's a keyboard with glasses, and they had this at CES, um, and it gives you supposedly 100 inches of viewable space. Um, their first uh, run of the space top is going to be available for 1,000 web forward users. This is what they said. That's their statement. It's about $2,000, so it's pretty hefty. And it's hard to find anything on the actual specs, what it can run or what it runs. Um, but it's pretty interesting. There's reviews out there you can find from a couple of folks who've had early test versions of it, but I think it's a really neat idea. I would love to have a desk with no monitors and just have that augmented space. Something I thought was really cool about it too is they actually black out your peripheral vision. So there's not any distractions visually coming in from anywhere else. So the glasses actually just take up your whole field of view. Um, I'm interested to try it. Like I said, it's probably going to be a couple of months. They think until fall, maybe early spring 25, before you can actually order one, unless you're on that kind of pre-release list. So it's something really neat that I saw at CES and I've been watching and kind of tagged to check in on every once in a while.
Do you know what it can do yet?
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, there's kind of a multiple. It can support, I think it said 6 simultaneous windows within the workspace. Um, it can provide, I think it said 1080 right now, and they expect it to go up in terms of the resolution, but not a whole lot on the specs. That's really what's
Uh,
concerning me is I don't see a whole lot on that.
but what can it do? I mean, can it do multi? Can it create PowerPoints? Can you write with it? Can it? I mean, what can it do? I mean, when you talk about AR and VR, we kind of have that already. But what makes it? A, is there any productivity to it, or is it gaming, visual entertainment, stuff like that?
Yeah, it runs just like a PC. So anything you could do on a PC, you could do on the space top.
Ah, okay, all right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
that's the demo. That's the demo I want to see of what apps it can run and what it can do.
yeah, they have a pretty interesting couple of videos. I'm more concerned with, is it laggy? Is it choppy?
Yeah,
Does it have the
yeah,
processing power to do what it's intended to do? Because you can run AR a whole bunch of different ways.
yeah,
Um, this is, I think, the biggest feature of this is that it's portable. It's easier and it's the whole PC setup together with the AR, so you don't
yeah.
have to hook it to anything else.
Yeah, we had that. I mean, I have a pair of Google glasses in my closet, and that platform of using glassware basically to do productivity stuff just never seemed to. Well, everything Google makes it eventually kills, but it never seemed to take off. And now I can't even run Google Glasses anymore because Google has stopped supporting it. You can't get the app, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
My next toy is a new MacBook Air M3, which just came out a couple of weeks ago. I had an M2 15-inch, and I thought I've never been in the 15-inch size computer or laptop. I've always felt that they were just too big, but people are like, no, you need more real estate. It'll come in handy. Well, the real estate didn't fit inside my bag. It took what was a light computer and made it a much heavier computer. And I just wound up never taking it with me. I always opted for a small 13-inch form factor MacBook M3 Pro or MacBook Pro M3. And so I decided to swap out the 15-inch M2 for a new MacBook Air M3 and really love it. It's faster than you can imagine, and it's just the right form size. And I usually when I travel now, I'm taking, and we've talked about this before, I'm taking an external flat screen monitor with me, one that's 16 by 9 and fits within my bag. And so I have two monitors with me anyway. So having a 15-inch and that monitor, not really necessary. So I've switched back to a 13-inch and been taking it with me every time I go to work. So,
Yeah, I think I had mentioned before that I purchased an Alienware laptop, which is kind of a model that Dell makes. And I went with a 17-inch since it's huge, feels
hmm.
huge, and compared to what I had before. And it's a beast to lug around. It's heavy. It runs well, runs everything well. It looks good, but it's cumbersome to travel with.
Does it get
So
hot?
that's part of the reason. Not really. And
Okay.
surprisingly not. Um, you will hear the fan though.
Okay. It's got
Um,
fans.
you will hear it. So it does cool, and it's SSD, so it's surprising that it's that loud.
Yeah.
Um, I really like, the speed, the picture. It's just the weight is a really big deal. Um, One thing I was looking at as a potential replacement at some point in the future, um, the new X360 HP comes out this year, 2.8K OLED, um, really cut down on the weight. Really a fan of HPs. If I'm looking at a Windows PC, I tend to stick with HPs. This is my first time away from HP in a while. Um, and a really much better battery life. The 360 is the two-in-one kind of tablet foldable. It also comes with something that I thought was a little neat, and that's onboard AI. So it has a platform for, HP's kind of intro platform for AI. So you don't have to work within the AI cloud for some kind of, minor AI uses. I don't know what that means. I haven't been able to figure out what the feature looks like quite yet, but it's something they've been talking about, and they talked about at CES. So I have it on my wish list, and it's relatively inexpensive compared to some of the previous models. You can get the 14-inch for about 1,500 or so.
Mhm. For me, I did some spring cleaning, which meant over the last couple of years, I've been picking up iPads at different form factors. So they're relatively new iPads, thinking, oh, I'll use this for when I'm reading downstairs, or I'll use this iPad Pro for this, and then the iPad Pro 13-inch, and then I had an iPad Air, and I haven't been using all of those iPads. So I gathered them all together and took them to the Apple store and cashed them in for gift cards and figured I will use these gift cards in some time. And what's coming up is um, March 26th, as all good rumors are. We've been waiting for this. There are going to be new OLED iPads coming out, and I will probably use the collection of those gift cards to just get one and only one iPad. That'll be a high-end iPad Pro OLED, and just kind of work off of that form factor when it comes to iPads from now on. So don't have it yet, but that's a gadget I'm looking forward to. We've been waiting every Tuesday to see if it will be announced, and there was some press that kind of said it looks like it's coming March 26th. So I'll be up ordering that when it comes out. I hope they give us a little more information on the front end so we know what's in the store before we go into have to read through all of that stuff and make decisions, but we'll see.
Yeah, I we actually picked up my wife is an avid reader and got her a Kindle a couple of years ago, and she's been kind of lugging it around. It's bulky. Um, they came out with a what they call a signature edition of the Kindle Paperwhite,
Mm-hmm.
which she loves. So it's small, it's portable, it's waterproof. Um, Battery life is amazing. She'll use it for about 2 weeks without needing to charge it. Um, and this is for someone who reads 2 3 hours a day, right?
Mm.
At least. Um, she'll read in the evenings, and then when she doesn't have anything to do or is waiting on the kids for practice or something like that, she's reading. Um, so she let me borrow it to start a couple of books while she was reading things in paperback. Um, and now I'm addicted. I love it. It's just
Yeah.
easy. Um, it's easy to download. It's easy to read, especially if you're traveling. It takes up no space whatsoever.
Space. Yeah. Yeah.
And right now they're 180 bucks. So it's come way down. I think when they released, it was about 250.
Yeah. I got one for Aileen for Christmas. I just thought it would be better for her in when she's in bed and reading and easier to carry around and better for her eyes in terms of the paperwhite. And I haven't seen her use it. She's still using her iPad and using the Kindle app on her iPad. And
Okay.
with Eileen's vision, she needs to expand the text as big as possible. So that's why Kindle books work better for her than large print or
Mm.
actual, paper books. But old habits die hard, and she's still looking at the books off her iPad on her Kindle app. So
Well, and I will say one area of annoyance for me for the Amazon products is that if you want no ads, you have to pay extra.
yeah, I did
So
that. Yeah.
it's
So
the ad supported to save you $30 is not worth it. Trust me, pay the extra.
yeah, I paid the extra, and it is not ad supporting when it's not being turned on anyways.
Right.
So, um, a little something a little bit on the cheaper end with the Apple Vision Pro, and I'll make this plug. If you haven't tried one, go to the store or see if you can sign up for a demo. And Eric, I think you should, given as much as you like AR and VR stuff, even though you're never going to purchase one and it's on a different sort of ecosystem than what you are. You need to see what the experience is like. So, I think you can go online and schedule them. Or I don't think walking in is necessarily a good decision because sometimes they get crowded or they don't have people available to do it. So, but what I got was a lot of what people are trying to do is use their MacBook or I guess any other Intel device and sharing their MacBook screen so it becomes a big screen that's virtually out, and then typing on their keyboard on the screen to be able to get the to do input. What I got instead, and the only way I can describe it, it's an RII mini Bluetooth keyboard. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes. It's to me, it reminds me of sort of a BlackBerry keyboard, and I got it off of Amazon for 25 bucks. It is illuminated in the back. It's got all sorts of shift and function keys, and it Bluetooths really nicely to my Apple Vision Pro. So I can use that as an input. I can hold it and see it instead of having to look down and look up and look down. I can hold it and see it and use it as an input keyboard for the Apple Vision Pro. And it'll work, I think, probably on any other device that you can Bluetooth it with. So I imagine if you're on a plane and you've got a tablet and you want to have a small keyboard, handheld keyboard where you can do your typing, that will also work. But it's the one that I found, and someone recommended it on Discord group that I'm on with Vision Pro was an RII mini Bluetooth keyboard. And you can find it on Amazon.
Yeah, that's neat. I was looking it up because I haven't used them before. It reminds me of like the old BlackBerry keyboards almost.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, same kind of thing, just no screen. It's just the
Right.
keyboard itself. Yeah, that's
And
neat.
it's got a little bit of haptic to it. So when you press a letter, you know you're pressing a letter. It's got a kind of a bubble pushback on it.
So I don't know if there's any pet people out there. This one's going to be a little, little off the beaten path. But RCA of all people came out with a camera dog feeder, dog and cat feeder. It's an automatic feeder. You can control how much food is there, and you can also see your pets with the camera. I don't know why that's necessary, but my wife is obsessed with the idea. So I think we'll end up getting one. They're about $75 on Amazon right now. I think the whole idea is to know. Well, with us, we have an older dog,
Yeah.
and to know whether or not she's eating or the smaller dog is eating too much or whatever, and to be able to fill it up the dry food whenever you need to. So kind of button touch from your phone can fill up the food. You can also set it to automatically um, give them so much food at certain points. So it's pretty interesting. It's voice controlled. Um, Manual or set schedules for feeding, and then pre-recorded messages to your pets at feeding time, so you can let them know dinner's ready audibly, which I think is just the best use of the technology that we have. So there's a voice assistant to feed your pets. Just
What about a
fantastic.
Furbo? Did you ever consider? I considered getting a Furbo one time. That's one of those devices that'll spit out treats, and
Oh
you can
yeah,
see
yeah.
the dogs jump up for it, and it will talk to you. They have all sorts of different levels of Furbos. I just looked that up because I couldn't remember the name of it, but those always seemed amusing to me. My dog wound up chewing up all the woodwork in the den anyway, so there was no reason for me to watch him do that on a camera. So
Yeah, that's entertaining.
I've got one last thing to mention, and I misplaced my wallet, and I think I even sent you an email on that. It was a bad day looking for my wallet. So I attempted to purchase and got it a AirTag wallet because I figure I'm going to put an AirTag on this. And it was one of these sliding wallets where you slide the cards in and out. And I got it and attempted to put the 6 or 7 cards that I have into it. And they either got jammed or they wouldn't fit. Because I have some of my credit cards, one in particular, the Apple card, it's made out of titanium, um, or tungsten. I can't. It's a tough card. There's no flexibility to it. There's no numbers on it, and there's no chip in it. I mean, there's a chip in it, but there's no visible chip on it. Well, the damn thing wouldn't fit in the wallet. And I was really looking for a nice little slim wallet to do that with. So I had to send it back. And so I by then, even before it came, I found my wallet. But I figured, well, I'll do an AirTag on it anyways. But this one wouldn't work. So I sent it back, and I'm in search of another AirTag wallet that has RFF protection and is not too bulky like my dad's wallet with a bunch of. I don't carry a lot of stuff, but I do want to have one that I won't lose or put down or can easily find if I do.
Yeah, well, the last one I have is actually not tech, but it's something I think that's helped me do be more productive and feel better about being behind my desk all the time. You may have seen commercials or ads for them, and it's the Secret Lab chairs. I have one now. It was a great purchase. I don't think I'll go with anything else. And as a bigger guy, they have some different options. What I like that they put out now, because I'm cheap, is the Evo Light. So Evo Titan or Titan Evo is their kind of flagship line of chairs. They put out a light version, which can run you about $100 less than their normal price. Um, they're great just in terms of being able to customize armrests, headrests. You can get the larger sizes. Um, and I've had zero issues sitting at my desk since having purchased this chair. The backs tend to be higher for those of you who are taller, and the light versions are a little bit shorter. And all the measurements are there, so you can figure out what it is that you need, and sit really, really comfortably. They also run some really good holiday sales where you can save another 150 bucks every now and then. So I suggest ordering around holiday times because they'll put those promotions out. And then they'll discount their previous year's lines in terms of designs. I have the Batman version from a couple of years ago. And just it's the one thing I have that I don't regret buying, and I'll use till it wears out and buy another one. Um, Again, if you're bigger, taller, much more comfortable fit, and they're not gaudy. They're, they can be used without a whole lot of distraction. So they are designed for gamers. They're designed for people who sit in their chairs for good periods of time. So I suggest checking it out, especially if money's tight and you want to look at the Evo Light as an option.
I've been tempted multiple times to get a much better chair than I have. And the chair that I'm currently sitting in, occasionally I'll plop down on it real quickly and lean back, and then the hydraulics just drop really slowly. I start to shrink down, and I'm like, okay. Then I try to get it, raise it back up. It raises back up, and I sit down on it. It starts to, I'm like, oh, it looks like the hydraulics are, and I do that about 3 or 4 times, and eventually it fixes itself. And I'm like, damn, I can't get a new chair now. And I didn't pay a lot of money for this. I used to buy a lot of $99 chairs, but this was more than $99. But I think given the amount of time I sit in this chair in this space, putting in the cash that it takes for a good chair would do me some good. I'm just waiting for the old chair to really truly die. And then that'll be then I'll do a second mortgage on the house. Um, to get a really nice chair. And they look so nice and they're pricey, and you go, oh my, are they really that good? I can't tell. They might show up and they're lousy, and then I've just dumped a bunch more money on what could have been a $99 chair. But hearing it from you, I take a lot more credence in it, with the Secret Lab. And then there's another one that I think is a lot on you'll see a lot of commercials for them. It's the same sort of thing, and I'm wondering, is this for real? And really, why does it cost that much?
It's probably the razor, and I've
Yeah.
sat in one of those, not for a long period of time, but I have a friend who has one and sat in it and was not impressed in terms of. I think my considerations might be different than everybody else's, but I need the lumbar support. I need the high shoulders. I have a tendency to lean back a little. It didn't feel as sturdy, and the cushion itself felt a little more rigid. I think you see a lot of commercials for those, and they're very RGB, gamer color.
Yeah.
They're popular with YouTubers and YouTube videos, but I didn't get the comfort out of it that I got with the Secret Labs chair. Um,
Yeah.
they're nice and they feel like they're well constructed, but just not to the same degree.
Well, if everybody out there would pray that my chair breaks sufficiently, I will have another thing to put on my list of things I must get. So I appreciate that. Anything
Yeah.
else? Any closing ideas?
No, I think this is an exciting time to look at stuff because in another 3, 4 months we'll be in the summer and things will slow a little bit, but we'll start to get those fall releases and different
Yeah.
things and gadgets. So I'd like to do another one of these in a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll probably have sold a bunch of stuff back and bought some new things. How can listeners get involved? Well, if you've got a tech question or you're trying to figure out how to do something with technology, or you have an idea to share, email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com or call and leave a message at 330-333-1240. And we'll play your question in the podcast and try and get an answer for you. Our bumper music is from Philip Gross, Rast from the Free Music Archive. Everything you need to know is at techsavvyprofessor.net. You can find us by searching Apple Podcasts for The Tech Savvy Professor. Look for us on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Music. Look for our other shows like Circular Firing Squad and on the podtalk.net. That's it for today's show. Thanks for subscribing to the Tech Savvy Professor podcast.